afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Young Carers Action Day. For those that don't know me, my name's Julie Jones. I'm the Group Manager for Walsall Council in Early Help. Today, as you know, we're joining part of the National Young Carers Day, which is looking and celebrating, but also protecting the future of our young carers. We've got quite a packed afternoon for you, so I hope that you find it informative and enjoyable. Just to let you know, we are recording the event today to share with any of our partners that can't join us. We will send that out and also put it on our website so it's accessible for everybody. Please, I'll encourage you, I know we can't see or hear you, but please in the question box ask any questions that you might have as we go along. We've got quite a few different presenters today and I'll let them present and introduce themselves. Please ask, we will answer any questions that we can, but we have also put a little bit of time at the end of the event for specifically for any questions and answers. So I am going to first of all welcome Councillor Wilson, who's going to officially open this event this afternoon, and welcome everybody. Thank you, Councillor Wilson.
Thank you, Julie. So yeah, Councillor Tim Wilson, I've got the pleasure of being the Cabinet Member for Children's Services for Walsall Council. So good afternoon and welcome to everybody. Today is the National Young Carers Action Day, with this year's theme being Protecting Our Young Carers' Future. We wanted to take this opportunity to coincide with the National Action Day to let you all know about the refreshed and developing Young Carers service here in Walsall. Over the past 12 months, young carers have been supported to help us shape this service, a truly collaborative approach, and we are pleased to have had this opportunity for our young carers to drive this service forward. We also want to take this opportunity in thanking and recognising the invaluable role our young carers make to their families and the communities throughout the borough, highlighting the incredible skills young people develop through being a carer, such as resilience, time management and empathy. These are all important skills, not just for our young people moving into higher education, but also for those looking to enter the workplace, and are skills highly sought after by employers. We must not forget, however, that the past 12 months life has been difficult and challenging for us all, and for our young carers this has been an even greater challenge, and one that they have embraced unquestionably. We all have a duty to support these amazing children and young people, and to go that extra mile in making sure we recognise a young carer, provide opportunities for each and every one, understand the impact their caring responsibilities have on them, and to mitigate this as much as possible. I've seen firsthand through my nephew, who was a young carer and wasn't supported adequately in another part of the country, the effect this had on him and his future and on the family. So it's important that we offer the correct support. Here in Walsall, there's approximately 220 young carers that are supported by the Young Carer Support Service. However, it is anticipated that there'll be many more young carers in the borough that haven't been recognised and may not even be aware that they are a carer. Today is an opportunity to raise their profile and to make sure these young carers have the access to the support and advice that they need. You will hear a lot today, and if there's just one thing I can ask you to take away, it is the opportunity for you within your service to become a young carers champion, a chance to make a real difference and to continue with the development of this support. I'm delighted to support the launch of this updated offer for the young carers in our borough, and to recognise the amazing contribution these young people make to their families and local communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wilson. Thank you very much, Councillor Wilson, for that. So, okay, just to set the scene, we have got a lot to go through this afternoon, but to set the scene, we're going to sort of give a really quick overview of who is a young carer, what we know nationally from the national context, what we know locally, and what the impact of being a young carer has on some young people. We're going to share with you, and we're quite excited to share with you, a big consultation event that's taken place really over the last 12 months or so. And it's really driving and driven the developing offer for our young carers. We will share what the consultation, look at the training resources that are being developed and that we've purchased, talk about and give opportunities about our young carers champions, and ask, as Councillor Wilson's just said, for you all to think about that. Could you really hold the baton for our young carers and take that champion role? Talk about the school awards, and offer to say how we can support schools in looking at and obtaining a school award around young carers. The young carers ID cards that the young carers have designed themselves, and talk about that a little bit. The young carers group that we have, and that we have run for a number of years, and let you know really and share with you about the impact that young carers group and how well attended and how highly regarded it is, and share with you our New Look website, and then have some opportunities to say, okay, so what next? This is a developing offer. It will continue to develop as a true collaboration really with our young carers and with you as key partners. So if we just go on to the next slide. Very quickly, there is a legal definition of who is a young carer, and the legal definition says that young carers are children and young people under the age of 18 who provide regular and ongoing care, emotional support to family members who has a physical or mental disability or misuses substances. So that's our legal definition. The Care Act also 2014 lays out for local authorities what the requirements are for us, and rightly so, to deliver support to young carers and to their families. And of course, that's what Absolutely today is about. I'm now hopefully going to pass you on to one of our young carers, Saskia. Have we managed to get Saskia online? No? If not, we can go to the next slide. So sorry, we're trying to get Saskia in, but Saskia was going to cover over really today what a young carer might do. So if I just cover that for us. So really, young carers carry out a range of tasks within their home, from practical tasks including shopping, cooking, cleaning, collecting prescriptions, doing the washing, looking after animals, looking after siblings, providing personal care, helping with bathing, dressing, and often helping family members to take medication. And remember, young carers are seen from the age of 9 upwards. So some of these young carers are very young people. They provide emotional support, including talking to someone who is maybe distressed at times. They help with communication. They often, and they tell us, and I've read and seen this, that they often get involved in managing the family budget. And as I've said, they often look after younger siblings, taking on quite some roles and responsibilities relating to that. Okay, next slide. I'm going to pass you over to Julie Hill now, who is going to cover what we know from a national context.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Julie Hill. I'm one of the early help team managers. So the actual national context, the figures we've got are taken from the 2011 census, and as you all know, there'll be a new census this year, so we should have more up-to-date figures very soon. There are 244,000 people under the age of 19 who are young carers, with about 23,000 under the age of 9. 149,000 of those are young carers between the age of 15 to 19, and about twice as many are between the age of 10 to 14. Obviously, the graph shows the figures. It's widely believed that this is the tip of the iceberg, and due to COVID, we're expecting more young carers to be identified. Next slide, please, Kerry. So, as Councillor Wilson said earlier, we've got identified within Walsall 220 young carers, 188 of whom are actively being supported and have received or are in the process of receiving a young carers assessment. Our young carers predominantly are aged between 10 and 17, along with 33 of our young carers aged 18 and above, so are transitioning into adult carers and thinking about their futures. We know there are many more young people taking on caring roles and responsibilities, and that's where we'd like your help in identifying and supporting these young people. I'm now going to hand over to Donna, who is our Young Carers Officer.
try again without mute. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Donna Ricketts. I'm Project Officer within Early Help, and I lead on some of the young carers work. So I'm going to talk to you about the impact of being a young carer. So being a young carer has a massive impact on the lives of young people, and it has an impact on things that are important to young people whilst they're growing up. So access to recreation and positive activities, making friendships, and really importantly, education. So we know that having a young carer's role and responsibility within the home has an impact on young people's ability to attain and achieve within education and training, and that many of our young carers struggle to balance the between their education and caring roles and responsibilities within the home. So the Children's Society in 2021 stated 27% of young carers aged 11 to 15 miss or have difficulties attending school due to their caring roles and responsibilities. Obviously, over the last year, the impact on young carers has increased around their vulnerabilities. So there's been isolation for young carers due to family members shielding or poor health, and it's created a gap between young carers and their peers around accessing education and that school and home life balance. In 2017, the Carers Trust carried out a survey, and they shared 39% of young people who took part in that survey reported that the school were not aware that they were a young carer. 1 in 20 young people said they missed school because of their caring responsibilities, and 26% said they had been bullied at school because of their caring role. Next slide, please, Kerry. But it's not all negative. There's some brilliant skills that young carers have, and young carers are resilient young people. So young carers have shared they have a sense of accomplishment, and that they are able to be independent. So there's a quote here from a young carer. As I was a young carer, I had to grow up fast. I was left to do everything by myself. But as a result, I am more mature for it. I know how to pay bills and run the house by the time I was 8 years old. I was doing the weekly shopping and cooking everybody's meals every night by the age of 10. I've been doing it since I was about 5, but full blown, just me on my own from 10 years old. So we know that young carers have many incredible skills they've developed. They have time management, money management, resilience, and empathy, and a lot of skills, transferable skills, before they start a career. Next slide, please. So today is National Young Carers Day by the Carers Trust, and the theme for Young Carers Day is focusing on protecting young carers' futures and recognising and understanding young carers' skills. So within our virtual group that runs at the moment on Wednesday evenings, we asked young carers what were their skills and responsibilities. And as you can see here, young carers have shared that information with us in their group. And shared a range of skills and responsibilities. I'll just let you have a look at those. Next slide, please, Kerry. So some of those skills shared were around budgeting, memorising task lists, which I struggled to do as an adult, DIY, cooking, and caring. Next slide, please, Kerry.
You're on mute, Julie.
Sorry, don't know why that was. Sorry, apologies. Thank you, Donna. Apologies for that. I certainly, when you look back at the skills and the capabilities of some of our young carers, as I've said, from the age of 9, 10, 11, I don't know about any of you, but I certainly didn't have those skills and capabilities, or indeed that resilience. And I think when we get to get a little bit further in this presentation, we start to talk about supporting for some of our young carers age 15, 16 upwards. We need to really concentrate and think about and support around those transferable skills that they have when we look at their future and support them in the aspirations for their future moving forward. So I'm now going to pass you on to Kieran and to Amanda. I'll let them introduce themselves, but this is to talk about the consultation that they've worked with our young carers, let you know a bit about that and what the outcome of that consultation has been.
Yeah, hi, my name's Amanda Street and I'm one of the school nurses. I became involved with young carers a couple of years ago when nationally the Department of Health invited nurses to come and be young carers champions. And that was a lot of professionals and at the end of them, although it was an extremely beneficial training, after the end of it, it was a lot of professionals putting a lot of action plans together on how to benefit and support young carers. And it was really about regarding health, how that we can, make a difference and for the young carers. When we got back, I got in touch with Kieran, who is the young carers lead, and Health started, myself, Elizabeth Clayton and Catherine Edmondson, we started visiting my place to offer support as a drop-in and to be there for if the young carers wanted any help. And I think Kieran, as youth leader, I think you'd say it didn't work very well initially, did it? There wasn't very much. The young people were very wary of us. Lots of professionals often pop into my place, and there really wasn't any trust there. So what happened was Kieran and we went back and we looked at a model that is used in school nursing, and it's called School Nurse Champions. Now I know Councillor Toe is very aware of this, and it was based on the youth. Sorry, I've lost my train then. It was based on the British Youth Service, who lost my train of thought. Who found that young carers, children don't really know the school nursing service. They're not aware of school nurses. So it was agreed that a group of children would be encouraged to be a champion for school nurses. They would be encouraged to look to work with us so that we could then improve services for them. It was decided that this model would be taken on for the young carers. Kieran and we then went on to look at funding, and we took them to the woodlands, which I think you can see on there. Yeah, so they had a really good time, didn't they, Kieran? It was.
Yeah.
They did
Amanda put a good afternoon, everyone. My name is
sorry, Kieran.
One of the workers that work on the young carers session. I'd just like to add what Amanda said, that a bid was put into the localities to look at a sort of core group of young people looking at the consultation, and there was a trip at the end where they went to woodlands where they had fun and stuff, and that's where sort of we did, I think the morning part we did like the consultation, and then on the afternoon they did like fun activities. So it was a really good day, but like Amanda said, that it take a while to build up that relationship with the young people, because they're all nurses and doctors and they're all sort of like doom and gloom. So it took a while, but the young people have taken to sort of Amanda and her team sort of very well now. So that's a real positive thing. Do you want to go? Can you just go down, Kerry, please?
Yeah, so what happened was young people were encouraged to do a lot of questionnaires, do focus groups. They did questionnaires for the other young carers to find out what kind of young carer service that they would actually like. And a lot of the things that came out, well, the first thing was that my place was very important to them. My place was the place where they learned to ride the bikes, that they could just be children, where they could socialise, and they just felt very carefree. But a lot of them can only go and see my place every fortnight. So it was what they wanted really was to go weekly. They also asked them, you know, what do they find it hard being a young carer? And a lot of them, half of them actually didn't. And that was mainly the younger ones, but the older ones, they found it very hard, you know, looking after the siblings and to give that emotional support really to their parents as well, if the parents were suffering from mental health. They also wanted to find out about schools because the young carers were coming back and saying that really school don't understand. So they devised the questionnaires themselves. They sent them out on our emails to all the schools in the Walsall borough. Unfortunately, only 6 of these came back. Some of the schools, especially in the west section, they're very, you know, they're very well informed of young carers. They've got a lot of young carers, and they do offer a lot of support for young carers. In some of the other localities, it wasn't that case. They did admit, though, that they could be doing a lot more. And what the young carers were saying to us was that really, you know, when they come in, there's so many different teachers, but they don't understand a lot of the caring roles that they're putting in. And they want teachers to be more aware of what a young carer is. And that was something that Kieran and I were going to take forward hopefully with the young carers, wasn't it, Kieran? Sorry.
What we want to achieve is a point of call within each school where they've got a designated lead to the young carers, and they're aware of who's a young carer within the school. And prior to sort of COVID and stuff, we have met with each school to talk individually about each young person, to look at either a young carer, B, what support they need, C, if they need C, if they need a health assessment, which Amanda's team have done, and if we can put any additional support in place, like any one-to-one support, or if they need anything sort of like within the family sort of setting.
One of the things we did find, wasn't it, as well, Kieran, when we were doing the health assessments, was the unmet health needs. I would say out of 80%, out of say the 100 that we did, they'd all got unmet health needs. So it's really important, I think, that, you know, school nursing and the youth services are working so closely together, because you know, these children do have unmet needs that need to be addressed. So we're really quite proud of that.
So yeah, we've already spoken about the group finding. So is there a next slide after this one, Kerry?
Okay, thank you. That's back to me, Kieran.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I think what it's fair to say is that we can show that we've done the consultation. Absolutely, it's key that we listen to what our young carers have said, and we take out from that consultation to develop this service and our support offer moving forward. So I think raising awareness really was quite strong from the consultation, raising awareness of who is a young carer, what a young carer's roles, responsibilities does, the impact, and how we as partners can really support our young carers, our young people that provide this absolute amazing service. So if we look back and say, okay, so from the consultation, this is what you've said, this is, and we concentrate and look at, so what have we done in response to that? So just to reiterate, the young carers came and said they wanted raise awareness. They wanted us to produce some training material and resources that we could share to some of our key partners across the Walsall Borough, specifically to our health colleagues, to our school colleagues, to our GPs, and to some of the community groups within our localities, to let people know how to make a referral into the Young Carers Service if they identify a young person as a young carer. And then to really sit back and reflect and develop the Young Carer Support Service. So as Kieran and Amanda have just covered off, the role and responsibilities of a Young Carers Champion, the school awards that we will come on and talk about to support and really encourage as many schools to get on board with us around that. Some Young Carers ID cards, which we'll cover off in a moment, that they can use with some of our key partners. Our Young Carers group, so to keep and develop even further the Young Carers group that runs from my place, and to provide better information. So what have we done to date? So we've talked to key partners, we're holding and raising the awareness, hence our meeting today. We've met with schools, we've met with health colleagues, and we've met with our voluntary sector. We're developing training, and we'll come on and talk about that in a little while. Some of the training packages that we've bought and training, one-to-one training that we're offering to some of to all of our Young Carer Champions, developing the Young Carers Champion service even more, along with a procedure and a support package, developing our Young Carers ID cards and a policy that sits behind that, and we're looking to launch that today. You'll see the little heart symbol, that's the symbol that and the new logo for our Young Carers service that our Young Carers have designed themselves. We've produced, and we're going to launch that shortly, the new video promoting our Young Carers group and encouraging as many young carers to come along to that group as we can. And then we've worked and continue to work with our young carers on producing our new look website, which we will share with you also this afternoon. So next slide. Megan, I'd like to introduce Megan, really. Megan is one of our young carers who sadly can't be with us today, but she was really keen to share with you her story about being a young carer, the support that she's provided, and what help and support that has provided and given her. I'm pleased to say that Megan's off at university, that's why she can't join us today, but please sit back while we just play Megan's message to you all. If you just bear with us a second.
Hello, my name's Megan. I'm 19 and I went to the Young Carers from 13 to 18. I looked after my mum who had depression and anxiety since I've been 11. I used to do the shopping, the cooking, making sure she ate, paying the bills, picking up medication and making sure she had it. I was unaware that I was a young carer until I was referred to the programme at 13. It was a difficult couple of years in secondary school before the Young Carers. It was difficult balancing school and caring for my mum. It was very isolating and it was hard to make friends, and I felt like I'd be mocked or judged if I confided in anyone, and it really affected mental health and self-worth for a while. But I'm not saying all of this because I want any pity or anyone feeling sorry for me. It was very overwhelming and stressful time. I didn't really have much of a social life like other people my age, and the little bit I did go out, I used to feel really guilty and worried about my mum, which mental didn't go out that often. But when I went to my first young carers group, it was very nerve-wracking. It was I was very nervous, but it was like a break I didn't know I needed. Like, just for those few hours every week, it was like I could just pretend I didn't have those responsibilities, and I could just like pretend for a little bit. And there was also like other kids who understood, so it made it a little bit less lonely that people experience the same kind of things I did. But even till like even till when I was 18, I still felt like a little bit of guilt. But it got easier over time the more I went, and the staff there were really supportive and patient with me, and like helped me come out of shell a bit more. And they also got support from me and my mum, which helped a lot. Especially during my GCSEs, made it a lot easier, and I could have more of a social life and do things I missed out on when I was younger, which was nice. And they also helped me realise that being a young carer isn't necessarily bad all the time, and there are good times with it, and there's also different type of experiences that are like valuable for later on in life, like transferable skills that you can get from looking after a family member. But it is really hard being a young carer, feeling like no one understands you, or that you think someone else's situation is worse than yours, so you don't deserve the service, but your experience is still valid and you deserve the help and resources that the Young Carer Service offers. And if it's okay to reach out if you really need the help or it gets too much, there's support there for you. And being a young carer doesn't define your whole life. Like, if you want to do something, you don't have to hold yourself back. You don't have to hold yourself back. I'm in my second year of university doing international law in Japanese, which is something I really wanted to do when I was younger. And obviously there's still a little bit of worry about my mum, but it's gotten better and easier with the help of the Young Carer Service. And I hope that me sharing a little bit of my story helps someone out there.
Thank you. Thank you, Megan. I think Megan is a true inspiration to us all. To be honest, I think she's done an amazing, remarkable job, and I'm really pleased that she still keeps in touch with the Young Carers Service, and that we're still able to support Megan going forward in her university days. If we can just do the next slide, Kerry. So just as Megan mentioned there, really, so how do we go along about making a referral? So making a referral, if any of you identify a young person in all of your services, in any part where you meet a young person that you feel may be a young carer, we really encourage you to please make a referral to us here in Early Help, for us to go and meet the young person and collectively do a young carers assessment with them to understand their caring roles and responsibilities and how we can support them moving forward. there's an online referral form that's available on this link, and we will send this out. As I say, we'll send the whole presentation out. Apologies, I've noticed a couple of people are having some technical problems joining today, but we'll send this out, and we please encourage you to complete this form. It's a very quick form online to say that you've identified the young person. It's obviously with all consent around the young person being referred to us, and then we will work with you, the service area, and the young person and their family around understanding their roles and responsibilities and how indeed we can support them in that. Okay, I'm now going to pass you over. Next slide, please. Actually, I'm going to do the training, aren't I? Because I'm so sorry, we've had some technical problems getting some people to join this afternoon. So working with our adult services colleague, so Ian Staples, a colleague of ours, we have purchased an e-learning course. It's been designed by Surrey County Council and Surrey Young Carers Service, and has been put out there to purchase by all local authorities. So very soon coming your way will be an e-learning that will be available to everybody. They're bite-sized modules that look at the legal terminology, keeps all of the legal updates updated on looking at who a young carer is, what their rights as a young carer, looking and meeting the needs of the young carer. There's a little test in there around the module to make sure that you understand fully what being a young carer means, the roles and responsibilities. And then we have an opportunity to put some modules on there that really explains what the Walsall Young Carer Support Service is about, how you can become involved, how you can make a referral, all about the champions, about the school awards. So there will be a whole host of information there that we will keep updated on a regular basis on what it looks like in Walsall. That will be out, I'm hoping, end of April, beginning of May, but please keep an eye on our website, and as soon as we've got that fully developed, we will share that with you. It is a free resource, and I encourage you to share that far and wide, and please utilise it. Okay, I'm now going to pass you back to Amanda, who's going to talk to you. You know, we really are selling and pushing for all of you to please think about the role and responsibilities that you could come to hold that baton for young carers, and pass you over to thinking about becoming a young carers champion within your service area. Thank you, Amanda. Oh, you're on mute, Amanda.
Sorry, yeah. Thank you about that, Julie. Yes, I think as we said about before about the young carers champions, one of the things that they said was that they would like a young carer champion in each school, and this is so that they can work with myself, with children's services, with Kieran, with all the youth workers, and to actually support and to ensure that other young carers, that they know what support there is available for them. Some of the things that they actually wanted from a young carer champion is to be there to be able to refer to other people if they felt that they needed support, and to have like a drop-in session as well, where the young carer, because a lot of, as Megan has quite clearly said, she didn't realise that she was a young carer, and a lot of you, we know that a lot of young carers are hidden, so it's about getting that support. So to help raise the awareness of young carers.
Also to get that sort of peer-to-peer support within school, where they've got common sort of things going on, so they could support each other within school to say, are you okay today, or do you need some support, or do you need to talk? So it was that sort of peer-to-peer sort of support as well.
Yeah. And the young carers champions, but because as we said, this was what this came about from the British Youth Justice, and the British Youth, and what they said was that because the young carers champions, because they're doing a lot of work regarding questionnaires, focus groups, they're analysing information, they're doing presentations. that they receive a qualification for this, and this qualification is called an ASDAN award, which is recognised by a lot of employers. So the 15 young carers that did do the Young Carers Champions with us, that will go on to implement and to make the changes, they will be getting this ASDAN certificate. So it's a qualification for them, isn't it, as well, Kieran?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Kerry. Next.
Okay, next slide.
Yeah. Was this Donna's? I think, was this Donna's one, or was this one mine?
It's mine, Amanda.
Thank you,
So
Donna.
if you're interested in becoming a young carer, please get in touch with me. My email details are there and my mobile phone number. We're really encouraging Young Carers Champions to step forward from any organisation to support with promoting young carers profile within your organisation, and then support to identify those young people and offer a young carers assessment and access to the young carers menu of services, some of which have been shared today within this presentation. So please get in touch with me. I'm quite happy to come along to meetings within schools, any organisations, and offer support. Thank you.
We just have a short video, I think, to play around the Young Carers Champion role made by Public Health. Okay. Okay, so if we have the next slide and over to Julie Hill.
Right, so I'm just going to introduce the Young Carers ID card, which was it's a co-production. So young people designed it, and we worked with them. That it will actually have it's a simple card. It'll help all professionals and young carers champions, school nurses, schools, GPs, and any professional that works with young people. So that they're identified, so we can provide the rights of help and support. The cards will have the young carer's name on and an expiry date and the contact number for the Walsall Young Carers Service. The cards will have supporting information sorry, the cards will have the supporting information within a pack, and all of it's being designed by the young carers themselves. The idea will be that once a young person is identified as a young carer, through a young carers assessment, the young carers card will be issued. Can I have the next slide, please? As part of the young carers card, we're using it as an identification for young people, but it's part of a young carers school award. So it's the opportunity for schools to gain the recognition from leading charities, mentioning to, so it's actually noted by Ofsted within the framework to get the support. It'll inform all staff with the young person's consent. So far, 175 schools have the Bronze Award and 33 have the Silver Award, with 14 receiving a Gold Award. So far, we were hoping Fiona Wilson would be with us today to present these slides, as she's done a lot of work on this with Joseph Leckie School. They were actually in the process of gaining the award, but due to COVID and building work, it's delayed the process. For the award, there's areas that the schools need to meet, so it's showing that they've got an understanding, and this can be it's actually a notice board within the school. The staff and students can see that, and it holds the indicators, signs to look out for, that they have an annual assembly, areas to show that they listen, that they're informing other people of the young carers and other staff, and that the support is there through the school. The school also helps identify the young carers, and that's where we'll hopefully come in with the cards, and that we've actually done an assessment and that they are classed as a young carer. Marie Jerome has helped us produce this slide, and this is the actual work that the school has done so far to try and gain their Bronze Award. If you're thinking of applying for the school award, then, as you've heard from Donna before, that she will assist in what you need to put in place for it. And also you can approach the partnership officers who will assist as well, and get the support from Donna. So now it's over to Saskia, if we've got Saskia back. I'm not sure whether she's here.
No, unfortunately, no. I don't think we've managed to get Saskia. So we've got a video that we'd like to share with everybody now to really promote our Young Carers Support Group. Apologies, Saskia really wanted to introduce this, but if we just play the video, it will give you some information around the group, around the support that it can provide to young carers, and really promote the attendance at the group.
My name is Oliver. I'm 12 years old and I'm a young carer.
I'm Jacob. I'm 13 and I'm a young carer.
My name is Fran. I'm 11 years old today and I'm a young carer.
I'm CJ. I'm 14 and I'm a young carer.
I'm Saskia. I'm 17 and I'm a young carer.
I'm Kieran Atkinson and I'm a young carer. No, I'm not. I'm Kieran Atkinson and I'm a youth worker based in Walsall.
I think it's important to know that it makes us very resilient. For example, like with me, I'll go to sixth form because I'm in my second year of A-levels, so I have a lot of studying to do, but then I'll come home and I'll have other tasks to do, like I have to cook and clean and help my mum out with things. as well as have my part-time job so I can bring in money for myself. There is a lot to juggle all at once, but I wouldn't have it any other way because it's made me very resilient.
What's hard about being a young carer is the fact that like some of them are like really young and like they still like can't really understand very many responsibilities that they have to go through still.
You've more got to fend for yourself more than other kids might. You've got to, sometimes you'll have to make your own food and clean because no one else would.
I think it's the relationship that I've developed with all of my siblings because we've all had to pull in together for years. So we're all very close. You know, if we're not with each other, then we'll be talking to each other on our family group chats and everything. Like we are very close together.
Put your hand flat on the table, like this. And then use this thumb and put the cue there. They can come here and sort of talk about some of the issues. We work with school nurses and other agencies about looking at sort of putting the best support package in place for those young people and the wider family. So yeah, the session is sort of well attended and it's growing massively.
I can't say enough about young carers. I think it's an absolute godsend to parents to know that their kids can talk to other people and get their feelings out.
I think it's important because like as a young carer you do really feel like a minority, and I remember the first time I come here I didn't think that there would be as many people in the same boat, and I was like wow, it really puts into perspective like how many children actually go through the same thing every day, and I love talking to them and getting their experiences in life, and it was really nice to just connect with them on a level and know that you're not alone in the situation. There's so many of us in the same boat.
Okay, thank you. I have to say our young carers really enjoyed making that film, and I hope you can really see that they really find the young carers group important to them. It's a place where they can relax, talk to people, talk to other young people and other young carers who are in similar situations that really understand what they're going through. You know, I hope I can do Saskia justice really, as she's not here and she was going to talk about the young carers group, but they've said that they feel listened to, they feel supported by the staff, and they feel it's a safe environment to be a young person, not a young carer, but also to talk about their caring roles and responsibilities. They, as you can see, and they've shared with us, they do some cooking, they do lots of arts and crafts. It's about having fun. It's all young person led projects. There's a music room that they utilize and absolutely love. They have sports, they have group games. We have family nights when we're out of COVID. We've done it within a virtual world for the last 12 months. There's lots of opportunities to have fun. And as Amanda taught earlier on, we link it also into the ASDAN Awards. So actually they get a recognition, an official recognition for some of the work that they do and support that they provide. Okay. We also have had, if we can have the next slide, please, over the last 12 months, really, and while we've been living in this pandemic and virtual world, the staff within the Young Carers Group have also supported our parents to come together. Not something I don't think that we've ever done before, but we've been supporting parents to have a Friday morning coffee together, a virtual coffee together every 2 weeks. And it's about peer support, really, support about how they're feeling and connecting with other parents and with other families in similar situations. We've got Betty. Betty is going to read out something that her mum Emma, who's one of our young carers' parents, wanted to really say and take this opportunity to say what the difference the whole of the young carers group has made, but also really to say thank you to from me to say thank you to Emma, who has really been instrumental in pulling the peer support and the parents group together, the support group together. So if we just play the message that Emma's asked us to send.
Sorry, Julie, it is struggling to open.
Oh,
I'll keep trying, one moment.
Best laid plans and technology. It all goes well when we go into rehearsal.
Probably play the audio off my phone and put it by the speaker.
If not, we can always send it out. But yeah, let's see if we can. Don't know if you can all hear that, can you?
Responsibility, and young carers has offered emotional support and made them realise they are not alone. One of my daughters have ASD. They have given her support on social and emotional development. My children take a lot of responsibility, and young carers has offered emotional support and made them realise they are not alone. One of my daughters have ASD. They have given her support on social and emotional development. They have helped me from day one, supporting her needs and given me organisations to contact to further support her. The group gives my children the break they deserve and need. It also helps them feel less alone, knowing they are not other children in their situation.
Yep.
When the children are at young carers, they get to be children without the responsibility of being a young carer. If me and my children ever need any support or just somebody at the end of the phone to listen, we can always contact them for a friendly chat. The group has helped to develop my children's confidence, independence, emotional and social skills. They have made and maintained friendships with peers and adults alike. If Betty, my daughter, has had a stressful week at school, when she goes to young carers, she can access the sensory room, which calms her. There is also a music room which she loves and helps her express and create through music. My daughter Amy loves the art room. She gets to make lots of fun things and bring them home and show me, which she always is excited about. Through the pandemic, the group has maintained contact with the children through cooking classes, bingo and quiz. They also have weekly meetings on Teams. Young Carers does an amazing job with the children and parents, and I cannot imagine how hard it would have been to get this support somewhere else that they have given to me and my family. Thank you to all the young carers. You have been amazing.
Thank you. Next slide. If we can have the next slide. Sorry if there was some technical issues, I think. I'm not sure if you all heard that, but as I say, we'll send this out and you'll be able to watch that. But thank you very much, Bethany, and thank you, Emma, for sending that through for us. I'm now going to pass you over to Andrea Packer. Andrea is the Interim Head of Student Services and Wellbeing at Walsall College, who's going to talk to you really about our Developing Young Carers offer and what next, and the things that we want to look at and focus on going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie, and thank you for your introduction, and it's been absolutely fantastic to be part of your webinar launch today, so thank you so much for including me. Just a little bit about me until just before I move on to talk about the work that we're going to be doing. My role really in the college is about introducing and developing and managing support services both inside and outside of the college, really just to ensure that our students have the best options and variety of support in regards to their well-being, but also and ultimately to help them to engage in their learning and their preparation for next steps, their pathway to either higher education or employment. And so it's really, really important that our students are supported as much as they can be. And our students come from a variety of backgrounds and areas, and we're really aware that the young carer role is one that perhaps we're not particularly aware of, or we don't raise that profile enough within the college. So this piece of work that we're just becoming involved with is absolutely fantastic going forwards. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit in a moment about the conversation that Donna and I had regarding that in just a moment. So just before I go on to do that, I just want you to take a look at the new website that's just about to be launched, I understand, in April of this year. And I think, Kerry, you're going to show us the website live, hopefully, so that we can just have a little look at that together. So here's the website, and it's been put together in conjunction with discussions with young carers themselves, which is absolutely fantastic. So lots and lots of different things to look at on this website. So once it's launched in April, we really hope that you're going to use this and make a really good resource of it. So there's some information there about the young carers assessment and how that can happen. You know, what the ID card is all about and how that works. Information for schools and for professionals as well, that's really, really important. Some information about our Young Carers Champions model, something that I'm particularly keen to look at and develop into college. The Young Carers group and what they do and how often they meet. And then that support really for those parents of young carers as well, so involving the whole family in that. So a really exciting opportunity for Walsall and a fantastic new website full of resources for everybody to look at some point. Can I have the next slide, please, Kerry? So working together, you know, really, really important, isn't it? Thinking about going forward. It's about how we all support our young carers, whether that's in a you know, in a school setting, or that's when we come into contact with them through engaging in services, and certainly moving forward into further education at Walsall College. So absolutely, there's a newly formed steering group, and I know that that Julie's spoken, and also Julie's spoken about that, about how you can become involved in that. And I would really, really urge you to consider about whether that's something that you can do, and because, you know, your voice is very much part of how this is moved forward, and how we can really raise the profile of our young carers in Walsall. So it's really important that we're all involved in that together. That emotional wellbeing support, absolutely. We're all aware how difficult things have been. COVID has had and continues to have a significant impact upon young people's emotional wellbeing, and it is about all agencies and professionals working together so that we can share our resources, we can share our expertise, and we can join up that wealth of resource so that we can really support the young people in the Walsall area at the moment. Walsall's Council Sport and Leisure Services and Children's Services have made arrangements for young carers in Walsall to have free access to all individual activities at the 4 leisure centres, and this is absolutely fantastic. So free use of the active living centres and the Gala Swimming and Fitness Centre and the Darlaston Swimming Pool. And of course, at the moment, things are difficult with COVID, but once we get through this patch and the other side of Easter, when things start to open up again, then these are going to be fantastic things for our young people to get engaged and involved in. The transition support for young people 15 to 18, you know, protecting their future. And, you know, we all know that transitioning from school to further education is a really difficult time for any young person. We have a new environment. It's often much bigger than a school setting. There's more people. There's numerous different members of staff that you might be taught by, and it's all very different, and it can feel very scary for a lot of young people. In fact, I only joined the college a year ago, and I'd never worked in further education, and just stepping through the door at Walsall College certainly put me on my back foot slightly, just due to the enormity of the building and the number of students that we have in the college. So I really do understand what it's like for young people. And I suppose whilst we don't want to single out any young carers or draw attention to them, it's really important that they're aware of the support available, and if they want to access that, you know, it's that choice, isn't it, really? As long as it's there and young people know where it is and how to access it, then it's really, really important that that's provided. And I think something from my point of view is that it's so important that young carers have exactly the same opportunities as their peers, and that's in regards to their learning, but also that transition out of college, whether that's into further education, higher education or employment. And that's really important that we're looking at that pathway and what that looks like and what young people need and what our young carers need. And I was particularly enjoyed Megan's story when she was talking about her experiences, and that she's obviously got a fantastic future ahead of her, and she's at university and she's succeeded despite all those barriers that she's come across. And that's just a remarkable story that, you know, we need to promote and share with young people that there is hope. Things are very difficult, but actually with the right support and that resilience, young people can really make it through. So when Donna contacted the college, I was so pleased that Donna had made contact. So thank you, Donna, for doing that. And I took that opportunity to meet with her and find out more about the role that she does, because I didn't really know about Donna and what she did, but also to start that valuable discussion about how college can work alongside her, and we can really raise the profile of young carers in Walsall College. And we had a really positive and exciting discussion. And, you know, we agreed that our priority is to try and identify those young people that are in college currently, but particularly those who will come and join us in September. You know, and actually some questions came out of that, really. So we agreed that definitely I would identify a member of staff, and probably within the safeguarding team, as I manage that team as well directly, and that we would have that lead role. And Kieran was talking about that earlier, about having that designated lead in college. So definitely that's something, a really quick win that can be put in place very, very quickly, so that Donna's got somebody that she can link into, and that member of staff can also link into Donna whenever that's needed. There's also something around enrolment for us as a college. So for me, there's questions around how do we make that interest and that engagement for young carers to want to come to college. Sometimes their experiences may have been negative or not as positive as we would want them to be, for a variety of reasons and not just one thing. So it's about how would college be different, and how could college give them that positive experience? You know, how can we reassure young people that support's available if that's wanted? And, you know, the other question for me is about how we make our enrolment process easier for young carers to access and come along. And I'm really liking the idea around the ID card, because that's something that we could ask for, possibly, that a young person might be happy to share with us. But, you know, it's also about getting the balance right in advertising the opportunities that we have in college. You know, we need to make sure we've got that support, that young people want to come and attend college and have that progression, those pathways onto higher education and employment. We don't want there to be any stigma and discrimination for any young person, no matter what they're bringing into college or whatever barriers they have experienced. And I also like the idea of the school award, and I'm just sort of thinking to myself whether there's any mileage in putting together some sort of college young carers award as well. The transition process is really, really important, and it's got to be right. And I suppose there's questions around the links that we have as a college with school. We do an awful lot of work with schools around enrolment time. We've got teams in the college that do that. So, you know, we need to make sure that link to schools is also working, and that we've got those transition links the other end as well when we think about moving into university. I also manage the careers team in my role, so that's another important area when we think about careers guidance for young carers, and what does that look like? Does it need some tailoring or adjustment? How do we know that our young carers engage in the advice opportunities that are offered, or are they really worried about that, or do they not want to engage because they're not sure, or they think they're not able to achieve? We need to be asking these questions and thinking about how our service is delivered. And finally, I think for me, you know, the champion model is an absolute must again, and the college is going to pick up the baton, as we've been asked to do, and certainly progress this. And I think it's a really positive opportunity to think about that transition for young carers and to get it right and to look at what we really need to do so that we can make sure that young people, you know, are supported and feel that they can come forward and talk to us about the experiences that they've had. And just finally, in doing some preparation today, I just had a little look at some wording, a quote that the Carers Trust Ambassador, Professor Saul Becker, made a few days ago. And he mentioned about the need to having national and local plans to make sure that young carers are not left behind, that they're no longer ignored and invisible. And we must safeguard their futures, and we must see this as an investment and not a cost. And I think that's absolutely fantastic, and certainly something that I want to take forward in college. And I'm really, really excited about working with the team going forward and sharing our journey if we need to with other college provisions, if that helps. But thank you for the opportunity for speaking today. And I think that's all from me. So I'll hand back to you, Julie, I think.
Okay, thank you, Andrea, for that. Really, really well presented, and an excellent partnership, I think, in supporting those young people going through the transition from secondary school into higher education and supporting their aspirations and their needs. Really happy to have you on board. We are way ahead of time. I think in practice it's normally taken an hour and a half or so, but we're a little bit ahead of that. So I've seen we've got some time really for a few questions, if there are any. I've seen some when we've been answering them as we go along. So please type in anything. We've had lots of questions around having more information about becoming a champion specifically within schools. So just to let everybody know, we will absolutely get all of the information out to you. We've recorded and made a note of every school on here today that's interested in that, and we will speak with Donna and get something out and meet with you all individually, or maybe if there's enough, we can do it in a locality basis and we can get that message out to all of our schools within the locality. Apologies again for a few of the technical problems that we've had. It always happens in these type of webinars, but thank you very much for everybody being here. Just looking to see if we've got any more questions. Absolutely, we will share. I think we've said that we will share today's webinar. It will go on our website. We will share all the slides, and we'll make sure that that gets posted out to everybody that we've recorded as being part of today. If there isn't any other questions, I think I've covered. I'm just having a quick look. There's some more questions about the school award programme, and absolutely we will get that out to you, and thank you everybody for sharing the interest around that. So I am now going to hand you over to Andrea Potts, the Director within Early Help, to do some closure for the day.
Thanks, Julie. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, great. Okay. For those of you, apologies in advance from Sally Rowe, our Executive Director of Children's Services. She had intended to close, but as we were running a little bit early, she's handed the baton over to me. So webinars, a great way of getting messages out, but as Julie says, not without risk of some technical challenges. And we've had a couple, but hopefully they haven't detracted from the main purpose of the event. So I want to close by beginning with some thanks. Saskia, I know you couldn't share with us personally your experiences, but the work you've done with us has absolutely helped our understanding and is helping shaping service delivery. So thank you, Saskia. I hope you can hear me if you couldn't participate. To Megan, what can I say? Your video really did bring to life the experiences of a young carer. Good, bad, but absolutely it brought to life, and it was very brave and certainly very inspirational. So thank you. You told your story so well. I think there is much for professionals to reflect upon, and I'm sure all of those professionals listening in today will do that, but they'll also like to wish you well in terms of your university studies. So thank you very much, Megan. To Emma, for your work you've been doing around the parent carer support group. That partnership is and will undoubtedly help us to get the right support to our right children and young people, to the right children and young people who are carers, and in the right way. So again, invaluable support and infrastructure we need. And to Councillor Wilson, yes, he's our portfolio holder, and some might say, well, we'd expect him to be here, but for his support and for stepping into those champion shoes. You know, he's busy like most of us, but absolutely, he was saying he wanted to be here to present this and champion, and for sharing his personal experiences, which again are invaluable to us all in terms of learning. I think just to move on, for some time now, I think many of us that have been having discussions have recognised that there's been a gap in support for our young carers. I think for me, what today has done, and I hope it's done for those of you that have been listening in, is gone some way. We've heard that it's gone some way to closing that gap. What I've heard today gives me confidence that we've got the building blocks in place. No, we've not sorted the life and the lot of our young carers, but we have got those foundations in place to both identify and provide support to meet the needs of our young carers, to ensure, importantly, that they have choice and balance between being a young person or a child or a young person, achieving at school, having opportunities for their future, at the same time as meeting the caring responsibilities. It's a difficult balance, and we have a part to play in it as professionals. As Councillor Wilson said in his opening remarks, today's event is about recognising the invaluable role our young carers make to their families and to their communities. We mustn't underestimate this, or indeed the incredible and transferable skills that they develop. I look forward, as many of you do, I'm sure, to being part of many more conversations like this, hopefully at some point in the future, maybe not all virtual. And I look forward to seeing the partnership go from strength to strength. My ask of you as we close this event is to think about how you, your service, your organisation might help us to identify those young carers, to engage with young carers, and how we can all collectively ensure support is available. And most importantly, this is about outcomes, the outcomes for our children and young people who are carers are not negatively impacted by their caring responsibilities and continue to improve. Thanks, Julie. And thank you for your chairing, by the way.
Thank you.
And to all of our speakers, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Andrea. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today. All of the speakers today and of all our contact details are on this slide for your information. And just finally, if I could just pinch a little bit of a thanks to Fiona Wilson, who couldn't join us today, but has been so committed in her work to our young carers over the last after many years. And I'm really sorry that she couldn't join us today to be part of this. But thank you all very much. Good that we finished early, and have the great rest of the day. Thank you for taking the time to join us. I think we've had over 70 attendees, so thank you all very much, and I look forward to speaking to you all soon.
Can I add something, Julie, before you finish?
Of course you can.
Yeah, can I thank the part-time members of staff as well who were sort of on the session as well? They go above and beyond, some of the workers, and they don't get that recognition. So I'd like to say thanks to the part-time team as well. So,
absolutely, of course. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Good point. Yeah. Okay, thank you all very much. We'll close the session now.
Thank you, Julie, from Councillor Christo. Thank you. Excellent meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.